What's up? This is El Diablo Gabriel Fuerza, and you're watching Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
People walk around the world and keep your hands to yourself. To the point, 'cause you know I won't be listening long.
Well, we are live, pals, and welcome to another edition of the Bill Apter Seal of Approved Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. My name is Tyler. As you can see, I am not joined by Mike today. We've upgraded a little bit. Sorry, Mike, but
jeez.
well, Mike and I got to take
That's
the
stiff.
shots at each other. Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do here. We roast the ones we love the most, right?
Of course.
And and the reason why we had to not have Mike here today is because, well, Ronda Rousey could tap out Mike, and I don't think Ronda Rousey tapped out our guest today. Of course, let me introduce you. Yeah, Big Ben Ortmanns. Ben, what's going on, man?
Not much, just enjoying my morning drink here.
Oh, I see you're drinking a prime drink there. That is very interesting, Ben. What?
Yeah, I've decided to have a strawberry watermelon prime energy drink this morning, as Crossbody Pro Wrestling is now a official retailer of Prime Hydration and Energy, and have a new little wonderful partnership with them, and look forward to seeing where this goes in the future. But man, this is delicious.
Well, I definitely need to try that one. That looks really good. What did you say that was?
Strawberry watermelon.
Okay,
It's very good.
Sign me up for that for sure.
I'm a big fan of that one and the lemon lime energy drink as well. And if you can get your hands on the Glowberry hydration one, oh, game changer.
Well, you can definitely get your hands on lots of Prime Energy drinks on Sunday, October the 1st, right?
You sure can. You can get all of the drinks that are available in Canada, both at the Uproar tapings going forward. You can get them at all of the big live events we have. You can get them if we're training, whatever. If you're in the building, we've got it for you. And the good thing is that they've allowed us to keep a very similar price point to where everything else is at the market. So instead of paying like $3.98 for a hydration drink, it's just $4, no tax included at our shows. Same with the energy drinks. I think it works out to like $4.98. It's just $5 flat, straight up, no tax, all that good stuff. So it's literally the exact same price. So you don't have to worry about like any of the like over undercharging or whatever. So we are literally, we're with the market. Like I said, I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this goes and what potential doors this opens, not just for me, but for others in indie wrestling, because it's a big deal to have Prime put their name on us, and that's pretty damn cool. Like companies that size aren't supposed to be doing stuff with companies my size. You know what I mean? Especially when they're already, kind of integrated into a different, larger organization. But again, very cool. And I'm very honored that we have this ability to do this. And like I said, it's just a small thing to start right now. But at the same time, too, it's pretty cool that we can do business with this excellent company and be able to hopefully expand our businesses together,
No, absolutely. I think it's fantastic. Like you said, not just for you, but for all of independent wrestling right now as well. I definitely think that there's a boom period going on with independent wrestling, not just here in Ontario, but you take a look across all of North America. Like there's some of the top talent in the world. They're all over the place. They're out there grinding every night. And you guys are grinding over at Crossbody Pro Wrestling. I love what you guys are doing. You're doing something totally different that I haven't seen anywhere in Ontario for sure. You guys are doing your weekly shows. It looks fantastic. You've got the moving graphics added now, which I think look fantastic. Every week on YouTube, you guys are putting out a new show. Where did this idea come from for you, Ben? Because this is groundbreaking stuff in Ontario right now.
So it all kind of spawned off of what we were doing with the Showcase Series shows, because we kind of already had something. We were already doing something like this, but not quite, like we were doing the bi-weekly Friday shows, but there was no real rhyme or reason to them. they were just kind of like, all right, well, who wants to do them? And then people would contact me and such, and then I would just put random ass matches together. I would never announce anything, which was kind of like the uh, kind of allure of coming to the shows. It was just like you would spend your couple of bucks to come to the show. You knew that you were going to get 90 minutes to 2 hours of entertainment for your little amount of money every other Friday. And sometimes it would just be young guys, but sometimes you would get like your Gabriel Fuerzas. Actually, a lot of times, especially during the showcase series, you were getting Gabriel Fuerza every other Friday. You were getting Alexia Nicole every other Friday, Holden Albright every other Friday. You were getting people that, when you look back at it now, it's kind of hilarious. Like Shogun, Jackson Stone, who's now signed with Impact. Like he was coming every other Friday with Blake 182, who's also another dude who's just unbelievably talented. You look at guys like Nate Bach from the States that were coming down every other Friday at that one point in time that's doing unbelievably well for himself. I'm just trying to because I know that there's a ton more. Like Mark Wheeler used to do them. So on and so on. Like you name it. Like Speedball Mike Bailey has done a showcase series show. Veda Scott's wrestled on the showcase show. Madman Fulton has wrestled on a showcase series show. So that's why I tell people whenever they say they're like, oh, that's just a student show. The hell it was. It was never designed to be that. It was always designed for younger talent, but also for talent who wanted to come and try things out, right? But again, there was no real rhyme or reason to it. So I think people kind of started to lose interest in it. So when we started to come back from the pandemic, I was like, all right, we started doing them again. But that's when I started to lose interest in them myself, just because there was no real, I'm a guy that needs to do things. I'm a creative guy. I don't like to just status quo shit. You know what I mean? Like am I allowed to cuss, by the way?
Oh yeah, big time.
Okay, cool. I'm not a status quo kind of dude. So I'm always trying to think of like what can I do to separate myself from like everybody else? That's always a thing on my mind. And then so I was trying to think of what I could do with the showcase series shows, and then I realized that if I format it correctly and if I do something along these lines where it's like it's not live, obviously, so it gives us the ability to like produce it, have different camera angles, be able to add in backstage vignettes and stories and like do all these different things that could really set us apart and really give me something to look forward to creatively, and also give talent something to look forward to creatively, just because we were providing us TV style wrestling training, because I was, again, very, very lucky enough to be able to get TV training and production training from, one of the best dudes that has ever done it in Keith Mitchell. So, I don't take that stuff lightly. So I took what I learned when I was working for Impact part-time, like just when they were in Canada, and I brought it back to crossbody. So when I was able to kind of get myself situated where I was comfortable doing all these things, comfortable coming up with creative for a weekly basis, and realized like, I think I could do this if the talent is interested. Then I can make this work. And then I had to speak with my production staff just to make sure that like they were on board wanting to be able to put that work in front of them, because that's, it's a lot of work. And then, I was kind of, everybody was coming on board. And then I started to think of all the different things that I needed. And then I was talking to Speedball, who's, one of my best friends. And I was telling him kind of where I was at in the whole process. And then I was like, I need a commentating team. I was just like, but I don't want to do it myself, because that's too much me. And then he's just like, you're absolutely right. You do need a commentating team. Veda and I are going to be your commentating team. And then I was just like, the fuck you are, man. You can't do that. I was just like, I didn't even know if he was allowed to, just because of his like contractual stuff. But I don't think that ever came up. I think he's just like, you're my, like, because you have to understand that like Speedball's not like just a friend, like that dude's family, like that's my brother, So like we'll literally do like whatever for one another. So he just did it. And like it's wild to think it's just like that, like at some point in time, I think during season 1, within like it's within the same week, and like this within a couple of days and all that stuff, it was just like they were doing commentary for Uproar, and then they were both doing commentary for New Japan, and then they were back Wednesday doing you know what I mean? It's just like, because Veda is essentially like the official commentating staff of like Independent wrestling at this point. You add in Speedball, who's not only her husband, but like obviously one of the best wrestlers in the world. Then you take their dynamic, and then Speedball is just a sponge. So this is a new tool for him to learn in pro wrestling, for him to appreciate putting everything together. And his wife, who happens to be one of the best, probably the best unsigned commentator in the business. And then again, it's just the absolute most perfect like storm. And once I realized that the production team was like, let's do this, Speedball and Vader were like, let's do this. The only person that needed to say, let's do this was me, because I had to be the one to create it, promote it, do all the stuff. And I was just willing to do it if everybody else was on board. So then that's essentially how it kind of came about. I know it's a long-winded answer, but then at the same time, once we started doing it, like the first week, we all just, again, like that team that I just mentioned of human beings, we're not a status quo humans. We're just like, all right, how do we get this better? So it like, and it's still constantly, we're every week, it's just like, okay, what can we do better? How can we do this better? And it's just, it's cool because it can be cool. Sorry, let me rephrase that. It can be cool because when you're dealing with other creative people who don't mind getting their feelings hurt, so to speak, it's great, because when you're under the assumption that it's just like, hey, nobody's trying to hurt my feelings when they tell me that I'm doing something wrong, or if what I'm doing is not up to par, or if it just straight out flat just sucks. If somebody like Speedball tells me that, I'm not like, well, fuck that guy. I'm just like, okay, he's like, okay, I need to change. So clearly, like, he wants me to be the best version of me. Not everybody is there yet. You know what I mean? That's on that. And I get it. Everybody's still young. People have a hard time taking criticism back and forth, like from time to time. And it's still kind of personal to them. And I understand. And I also understand getting criticism from me can also be a bit of intimidating thing because I'm a very passionate person. And this is like the thing that I love the most. So when I'm like speaking, like, as you could tell, I get like really animated and fired up, especially when I'm talking about wrestling. So when I'm trying to help anybody get better at anything, when it comes to like, I'm just like, I get excited because like I can help bring, when I see that I'm able to help bring potential out of somebody, it just gets me excited because especially when they're coachable, you know? So it's a bit of a frustrating process not having everybody there. But again, I think that for the most part, that also kind of weeds out the people that don't need to be there either. So the one thing that I'm super proud of is that the team that we've got are all just like, we're so tunnel visioned on like, how can not only I get better, how can we get better? How can I help everybody else around me get better? And that's what we need in a team. And it's never been about the money. It's just like, how can we get better at our art? Because we're artists and we can't be better for other individuals to want to purchase our art and want our art to be a part of their art unless we give them something that's like a great sample piece, because we're providing opportunity for talent to do that in a way that I don't think that any other company is.
Yeah, that's the one thing I love about and just crossbody in general, because I've had the privilege to just come down to the one show so far, but you immediately felt a family atmosphere, and for us on our podcast, like, we like to associate ourselves with that type of love and that type of a community. And that's why I think you and I have gotten along so well over the last couple of years, because we both have this very similar passion. When I walked into that crossbody studio, I felt that when we talked to some of your students, and some of the people on the show, we felt that camaraderie, that family, and that's fantastic. So for you to give this opportunity now where, yeah, it's not just another indie show, we're not coming out there and match, intermission, match, have a great night, sign your autographs. This is TV format. You're teaching these guys a different step now. We're doing backstage vignettes, right? We're doing, which gives an opportunity that not a lot of other promotions will give. There's not a lot of talking in independent wrestling, and I love seeing that. For you, you take your knowledge of Impact Wrestling and you're bringing it over here, and I love the give back. Do you get more stressed out watching your students now? Like, because you're such a great trainer and you've got such fantastic students. Do you get stressed out and excited for them, like in a way that you get excited for yourself when you get in the ring? Like, tell me about the kind of trainer mentality that you have.
So that's a great question, first of all. I used to get very nervous watching my students, and I used to get like let's fucking go. Like the best way to explain it is just like if you ever see a coaching staff in the corner of like a UFC fight, and you're just they're trying to pump their fighter up, but at the same time they're just like, okay, that's my like my kid, for the lack of better terms. And it's just like, and they're going to war, and I can't be in there with them, and I can't, you know what I mean? It's just like, all I can do is just fucking watch and just hope to God that I provided them the correct tools to win this fucking war, is essentially the thing. And that's nerve-wracking, because then you start to question yourself, and then you kind of start to question the process, and then it's just, so for the longest time, yes. But if I'm being completely honest with you, I think that the reason why that was just because of the way that our coaching staff was going about coaching. I was only there one day a week, so it'd be like myself, and then Notorious TID, Tyler Thomas, and then Holden Albright. So while it was good for the students that were getting all of these different like coaching, like, you know, different mindsets, for me, I was starting to realize that it wasn't good for the students after a while, because they didn't have like a head coach that was like, it's good to have separate coaches, but you need to have a head coach to kind of like look over what they're doing and be like, okay, if you need to get better at this, go to this person. You know what I mean? Like, I highly encourage like my kids. I'm like, if you are going to go train somewhere else, the biggest thing that kind of terrifies me now, if like, again, if I'm gonna get my students to go and train anywhere, and like I said, I highly recommend them to go and train in other different places once they're ready, you know, because I'm a big believer that if you're going to start to train, pick your coach, get your initial training from them, stay with them if you feel comfortable enough, but go and train with other people. So then that way your head coach always there to, because if they genuinely give a shit about you, I think that you would want your students to grow. But if you want your students to grow, they have to learn from people who are better than them. You know what I mean? You have to trust that stuff. So the fact that there are like the Gabriel Fuerzes of the world and Alexia Nicole's of the world and Jody Threats of the world that are coaching down at Battle Arts now, that makes my heart happy, where it's just like, hey, if you are going to go and learn from somebody else, go to them. If you're in Windsor, there's a Josh Alexander, there's an Aiden Prince, if you need a day, go to them. You know what I mean? Listen, I don't think it's a secret that Josh and I don't necessarily get along these days. He just, for whatever reason, but just because we don't get along personally doesn't mean I wouldn't tell you, go train with him. You know what I mean? This is pro wrestling. Our whole idea, like the whole point of this, is to get as good as we possibly can. But at the same time too, just let me know what you're doing down there, so then that way I can take that into consideration, so then that way I can try to figure out how to make you and kind of help put it all together for you, you know, because that's the difficult part, is like, too many people want to instill their way into people, and I don't think that there's one necessarily a way, and those are the mindset of people that I would rather them be coached by. You know what I mean? Like, so I can't even remember what the initial question was anymore, because I've kind of just rambled on at this point, but oh yeah, sorry, no, I do remember. So to answer your question, I'm not as nervous to watch them perform anymore, just because nowadays I'm in there every day. Like Notorious TID, he retired from wrestling. So when he retired from wrestling, I could just tell that his heart wasn't into the coaching. And that wasn't to say that that was like a negative thing. It's just that, if anything, I could tell it would almost hurt his feelings that he's in there trying to do something that he can't necessarily do anymore. And plus, he's also got an extremely successful podcasting career that he's kind of in the middle of like upstarting right now. Like, for somebody that started when he did to where he's at the moment, it's pretty mind blowing to see his growth at this point. And he's got a really cool announcement to drop here, like any time, that like we're just waiting for the pretty much what I was waiting for with the Prime thing. It's just like, go ahead, drop it. Like, everything's good, but now you can. So that's kind of where Chris is at with his stuff right now. So I also thought that it would just be fair to him and fair to me, fairest for all the students, that if I just take the whole thing on myself. And boy, was that's a lot to deal with now, because I thought I was dealing with like just the uproar and all that stuff, and then just doing my regular coaching was fine. But now I'm running the business myself. I'm doing all of the coaching. Like, I'm literally treating the coaching as if I am an MMA coach now at this point, because I feel a lot better about all this stuff. Where like I'm like like I know what we're doing this week to get us to this week, to get us to this week, to get us to this week. So like the people that come and like dedicate their time and they're there every day, or even like 3 or 2 out of the 4 days or whatever the hell it is, like those ones are going to zoom past training, just because the way that I've got everything set up in my mind going forward, it's just like it's going to nick all of the boxes that they need for the growth. You know what I mean? Because I don't think that it's a secret. I think I have it on the website now, but it's just like, so like, for example, Tuesday night we do match review. So like for an hour we sit and we just do film study. And then for another 90 minutes to 2 hours afterwards, we're doing like a beginner or advanced night, depending on who's there, right? Sometimes we just kind of mix the two together, but I usually genuinely have a rough idea. Wednesday, Tyler Thomas coaches now. He takes care of strength and conditioning for an hour, and then he does an advanced class right afterwards, which is working on specific things for the students that are going into matches right now to help make them better and to not just get them prepared to just start working, because that's not the goal, to get them to work. I want them to succeed. Like just to give you an example, we have this one female that we've been training. Her name is Breland. And the reality is I think that if she was anywhere else, and this isn't to like say anything bad or like try to demean any other like place by any stretch, not what I'm doing, but if she was anywhere else, I genuinely feel like they would have already given her her green light and said, hey, go ahead. But when we give her her green light, when she's done her school, because school's the most important thing for her, she'll be ready to go. You know what I mean? Like not just go out there and just be another person. Like she's going to go out there and be prepared to succeed and do well out the gate. And that's what we're trying to do. Like Speedball really instilled that into me. He's just like, the students nowadays don't have to suffer and the way that we did when we were growing up into our time, just because we don't have to do the same things. Just we don't have to only give people like a little bit and say go on. We can give them the whole damn thing. People are capable of remembering this stuff. So why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we teaching them the things that make them successful early? Why do we have to let people go through the ringer? Why can't we just give them all the tools and just say, now go through the ringer?
Yeah.
And then now success is on you, as opposed to making yourself look foolish, potentially getting yourself heat with somebody. So the reality is I'm not that nervous anymore, because I genuinely, for the last few months, the way that we've been doing things, I think that we've been doing an excellent job setting our people and our team up for success. So nowadays I get more excited to see what they do with the tools that they're being provided.
I can definitely speak on a personal experience on this one too. Your students, a lot of the people that come through crossbody, I can tell that they're crossbody students because of how amazing people they are. They're respectful. They're nice people. They're always there early, helping set up and tear down. And I've been very fortunate to get to know some of these people now. And I'll name drop some people because I want to give them recognition, because I think they're amazing people. Mikey Jenkins, fantastic guy. Nilo,
Greatest.
Fantastic. Laurel, Crystal
Nilo.
Moon, Nilo. Sorry,
It's Nilo.
I always get
Everybody says
wrong.
Nilo just because I get it, but I always have to correct you just because I always want to make sure people give him the due that the just that he's due. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's Nilo.
Nilo. I always get his name wrong. I do that. That's kind of my gimmick too. I get everybody's name wrong. It's a terrible habit
That's
I
okay.
have.
That's all right.
But they're all fantastic people, and I'm happy to call a lot of them, friends now. Like I see them at the show, I get excited. We have great conversations. You see their progress out there, and it's fantastic to see. And like I said, I love what you guys are doing down there with Crossbody Pro Wrestling.
That's what kind of why I call them my kids. It's because, again, like I put a lot of myself into them, and I don't say like just I don't want them to be miniature versions of me. I don't want, if anything, I'm trying to avoid that, because if anything, I want them just if they can take anything away from me, it's just the things that I've been blessed enough to learn, the cool things and like the good things that I've been blessed enough to learn, and my work ethic. If I could bestow that upon them and then allow them to take those tools and do what they need to do in order to make themselves the best individuals they can, that's the real goal for me. Because I again, like the way that I was brought up into the business, and I don't know if maybe it could be even the way that I was brought up as a human, just because, again, I like a lot of people don't know that, like I've been on the streets when I was like 15 years old. Like I've had a real rough upbringing. Like I don't have a lot of like, it took me a long time to learn a lot of common sense just because I didn't have people in my life that were like guiding me. And I know that kind of just took a weird left turn, but like, I'm just being honest. Like,
Yeah.
so it took me a really long time to kind of figure out how to not only be myself, but to empathize with people in a manner where I'm not like attacking them just because when you're that young, and you're going through those things, you don't until somebody teaches you like that not everybody's after you, and that like the world is actually not so bad of a place if you surround yourself with like really great like-minded people. It's I'm not saying that I was a terrible coach or a bad coach or anything for the first while, but I just feel like I've become a much more efficient coach because I can empathize a lot more these days with the kids. And that's really what I'm trying to accomplish with them. Like again, like when you say that like the Mikey Jenkins of the world and like everybody else that you had just mentioned, like that they're good kids, it's just like that has to be a part of it because if you become a little asshole like and we've had students who have run into attitude issues and I'm not going to tell you who but because I think that they've corrected their course and they're doing great these days but that's a part of it. It's just like if you're going to be a little dick, I'll fucking tell you and I'll put you in line and if you don't like it, reality is that's on you because that my job as like a coach and now at this point when I almost like to view it as like kind of like a big brother. I don't like, even though I call them my kid, because I, you know what I mean? I kind of have that big brother mentality where it's just like, I can't, like, if you're going to be this and you're going to make mistakes, I have to come over here and don't. Because if I don't, then you're going to keep making them. And if that upsets you, then that's really on you. I'm not trying to just come over here and do this for no reason. I don't want to do that. I want us to be in joy every single day. I want us to go to every single show, know that every single one of us has put every fucking ounce of energy that can put in, not only to our matches, but to creating the matches and making sure that we can get the absolute most out of what we're trying to do and that we're creating a proper and extremely relatable piece of art for the audience. That's important. But at the same time, it's just like, how are we doing with the energy? Like, what are we doing with our energy, helping with the setup, the tear down, the like making sure that our music people are good, making sure our refs are fucking in a great mood, making sure our ring announcers in a great mood, making sure that the people that are selling water and chips or whatever it is that they feel welcome. Whether like the camera people is just like making them feel like a part of the show by going over and telling them what you plan on doing, so then that way we can get our best shots. You know what I mean? It's just there's so much to that, and if you're not teaching that and I'm not saying that people aren't, but if you're not bestowing that upon people, I just think that you're doing a disservice to everybody that's growing up. And luckily, Notorious TID has been very, very an excellent leader for that over the last 9 years. And, I've just been blessed enough to kind of be able to learn how to do that from him and from Speedball as well, kind of just how to become a much better and more efficient leader.
No, absolutely. And I feel like we could keep diving deeper and deeper and deeper into this, and I could talk about this all day with you. And I love it because I feel like I'm learning a lot just with these conversations as well. But I do want to shift gears a little bit. I want to talk about Sunday, October the 1st, because it's a big show for you guys,
Yeah.
7-year anniversary show. We got AEW superstar Ortiz coming in. He's going to go one-on-one with the man they call El Diablo, Gabriel Fuerza.
Yeah.
This has got like banger written all over it. How did this match come together for you, Ben? Because I know
Great question.
we kind of talked about this a little bit. I saw you a couple weeks ago, but I haven't got the story yet, and it's been killing me to know. So how did all this come together?
So when you look at a match on paper and you see boom, boom, and you're like, God damn, that's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
There's always the what ifs. How is this going to go? You know what I mean? Then take this into consideration because these are all the things that you never know. I like to try to take care of the people that take care of me, right? So whenever like the Fuerzas of the world, like the Alexias of the world, I've always tried to like make dream matches for them if I'm able to, because listen, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is personally funded by me, the company. I don't have backers. I've had sponsors that have helped kind of flip the bill, but it's always been very minimal. You know what I mean? And that's not to discredit them, but it's just, it, maybe I'm like the worst businessman ever. I genuinely don't know. I've never made a dollar at this. I've just always been able to reinvest whatever I've made and just kind of happen to break even. But again, I love making my art. So when I asked Fuerza the one time, I'm like, hey, just out of curiosity, if you could wrestle anybody, and I was just able to make it happen. Like, I'm not saying that I can, but if I was, like, who would you want to wrestle? And he's like, I want to wrestle Ortiz. I was like, well, shit. Okay. So let me see what I can do. So got in touch with him, tried to make it happen. We couldn't make it happen. Is what it is. Business is business. We all understood, no harm, no foul. I'd say maybe 6 months later, which was about 3 months ago. I want to say, I can't remember. I've had a lot of concussions. I guess I remember it was a Sunday afternoon, and I just got an email, and it was from Ortiz, and he's just like, I can't stop thinking about this damn match. I want to wrestle Fuerza so bad, like so bad. How can we make this work? And then I was like, well, you tell me. Like, this is how can we make this work? Like, I think it was maybe like 2 emails back and forth, and his flight was booked. His the date was approved from the office. And I'm not gonna lie, when I saw that they were doing Wrestle Dream on October 1st, I damn near shit myself and was like, oh no. And then I looked at the poster and I was like, oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Okay. Good stuff. But yeah, so thankfully they do take note of those things. So I appreciated that. But yeah, so the reality is how it came together is the two of them wanted it, and they just so happened to wanted to do it at Crossbody Pro Wrestling. And because I would like to think that we've been a pretty big help for like in the growth of the career of Gabriel Fuerza over the last few years. I think that he's had certain companies like C4. I would like to think that we're one of them that have been just continually there for him. Barry, as well. But so you want to reward the people that have helped make us what we are, and he's certainly one of them. So being able to make this happen for him where he's at in his career, where Ortiz is at in his career. Again, I've worked with Ortiz at Impact, so luckily he remembered me and he knew me, and we were all just kind of able to make this happen. So really what this is just, it's two dudes who just want to wrestle the absolute hell out of one another. And I want no part in, like, I'm not going to I'm not telling them what to do. It's you. This is all you, boys. You know what I mean? It's just like, you tell me what buttons I got to push, and let's have a great night. And that's what excites me about this match, is because I know that when Speedball and I were looking forward to having our one-on-one match, and then we were finally able to have it, nobody told us what to do. They're just like, here's your chunk of time, do your art. And we got to do our art, and it was the most fulfilling fucking thing I've ever done in my life, like ever. And I say that having done some pretty cool things in the last couple of years, but there's nothing that'll ever top that creative and like rush at the, like, when that fucking 3 count happened. And even though my shoulders were on the mat, when that 3 count happened, it was just, I remember looking up at him and I was just like, we fucking did it. And it was just like, that's proud, and that's a prideful feeling right there. So it excites me to see two gentlemen of that caliber being able to have that same opportunity to just create, So if that doesn't excite you as a fan, I don't know what the hell is gonna.
Like, I love the passion coming from Ortiz as well, but I'm going to be a little biased here because I'm a Gabriel Fuerza guy. I love him. I think he's a fantastic person. I've loved seeing. I'm calling this the year of Fuerza. Like, some of the big matches he's had this year, it makes me so happy. He went down and did Warrior One. We saw him in there with Rocky Romero. He fought the Motor City Machine Guns this year, and now to see him get this shot with Ortiz, it just makes me so happy to see it, and I can't say enough good things about him. These guys are going to tear the house down. This has got match of the year written all over it.
Oh yeah, and the timing is just perfect. Just because, I don't know if you noticed, but like traditionally, when when people come out of Ontario and go on to bigger and better things, traditionally all the companies usually gather around that one individual and they just throw the gambit at him. And I've noticed that that's exactly what's happening with Fuerza right now. It's just like everybody that's coming in that's worth a shit this is our guy that's worth a shit. So like he's on that run right now. So it would he should be on television right now.
Mhm.
But I genuinely think that what he's doing right now with this run that he's on and this list of opponents that he has, and just knowing where he's at mentally, I think that this is the most perfect fucking time for that man right now to like capitalize on all of this stuff. And then when his time comes at the end of this run where it's just like go to TV now, that dude is like he's ready.
Yeah.
He's fucking ready.
See, I've been lucky. I went and watched this match with Romero. I had to see it in person. I took the day off work. I said I'm going to watch this, and I got to see him in the machine guns. And every time that the match is done, I always walk up to him and I congratulate him. I tell him how amazing the match was. But my biggest takeaway is, you look like you belong in there with these guys. You know what I mean? Like it's like if you took this match and put it on Impact or AEW or WWE or whatever, that match looks like it belongs on TV. And it just makes me so happy to see that for him.
He and I had this really important chat about, I think it was about a year and a half or 2 years, about a year and a half ago, I want to say. It was at a show, and I'm not going to tell you about what, but we had this really important chat after one of his matches where he was just like, "What'd you think?" And I gave him my honest opinion, and because listen, when I love you, and you ask for my honest opinion, I'm going to give it to you. And the one thing that I noticed is that all of his matches that I've seen since then have tidied up in such a manner that I don't know if what I said got to him, but I've just noticed that the thing that I did say to him is no longer an issue. So it's really cool to see him at that stage in his career again, because I know that like there's a lot of people in Ontario that don't think that I'm shit or whatever. Like there's this weird hate on me, and I'd like to say that I get it, but I honestly don't anymore. Like, but it is what it is, and I've just accepted it at this point, and that's fine. But the reality is the fact that he at that stage was able to come to me and ask me for advice, and I asked and I gave it to him, and he accepted it and absorbed it, and I genuinely think that he worked on it, shows that that guy is a guy that you want around you at all times. Because again, I'm of the mindset where I never give you or I never talk to you about anything unless I'm trying to genuinely help you. It's because I love you and I want to see everybody grow as wrestlers and as individuals. It makes me happy to see. So when we're on that stage and in this far in the game and we can still do that with one another, that's the best, man. It's the best. That's why I love that guy. It's because he still learning, and I love it.
100%. I want to talk about you a little bit, man. You know, we've spent all this time talking about so many other people, but I want to talk about you a little bit here. Some moments that you know I've gotten to witness that make me happy, because I always get excited when I see people that I love and care about get awesome moments. You know what I mean? And I'm sure that I guess it was about this time last year, your phone probably blew up when Suzuki came to Ontario. And you know, he did a couple shows. He did one in Montreal. He did one in I think Niagara, St. Catharines area. And I saw the picture you posted on social media. You got to meet your hero. I know he's your hero. We've talked about this before. I've heard you say it many times. Just tell me about that moment for you getting to meet your inspiration.
So you mean this little fella?
That guy right there, yeah.
So you got to keep in mind that announcement came like right after I did that spot on SmackDown with Ronda, and my phone blew up when the Ronda thing happened. Right, when Suzuki got announced for IWS, my phone has never fucking blown up the way that it did when that. Like, we're talking people that I would have never in a million years, thought that they would be resharing that. And they're just like, oh, Ben's getting his match. And it was just like, I kind of took a few minutes to read all of these things. Cause that's how I found out that it was coming. Cause like, Andrew didn't give me any Iggy at all. So when I saw all that and I saw that there was no opponents and I just saw everybody's like, oh my God, Ben's going to get his match. Ben's going to get his match. I messaged Andrew. I'm like, I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was along the lines of, you better fucking give me Minoru Suzuki. And he's just like, before you get too amped up, he's just like, he already has an opponent. I'm sorry it's not you. He's just like, but just, I understand how cool it would be. He's just like, but this was already kind of set into place. And I was just like, fuck. And then all of a sudden they just kept flooding in. And I'm just like, again, maybe it's just biased because I'm not seeing anything else, but it's just like, with all due respect, it's just like, can you change it? Because like, look at all of the fucking traction this is getting. Like people genuinely want to see this because for one of two reasons. Because you love me and you want to see me fight my fucking hero and you know what I'm capable of and know that that's going to be the slappiest fucking match ever. Or you hate me and you want to see me get my motherfucking ass beat by this Japanese murdered man. That's what more can you ask for? Like, I just thought that was the perfect storm. And I do think that in retrospect, if they had the opportunity to go back now, knowing where we're at right now and change that, I believe 1,000,000% that would have been me. I think that they have kicked themselves in the butt for that, knowing that the right match would have been me. And I don't know that for sure, but I do know, and I can tell you this for a fact, that had that have been me, I might not have been out for 9 months with a concussion, because that is the show where, because I'd already gotten one from Albright and Barry, but I was kind of recovering. But the second one that did me in was the one that really, really did me in. And had I wrestled Suzuki that night, who knows? That might not have happened. So there's a lot of what ifs that could have happened there. But man, what a sweetheart that dude is. He's awesome. I gave him one of my T-shirts and I gave him a couple of things just as a gift, just because that was one thing I learned, that when Japanese talent come to your foreign country, like it's customary to give them like Canadian gifts and stuff. So like I went and got him like some Canadian chocolate bars and just some stuff just to kind of, and I got an opportunity to like say thank you for like being like my inspiration and all of that stuff. And he was really nice, and he took some pictures with me, and he saw me get into a bit of a scene later on in the evening where things could have gotten a little weird. And he saw Big Ben angry, I guess, for lack of better terms. And while everybody else was panicking, I just looked over and he's just kind of like kind of giggling at the chaos. And I was like, I love this man so much. It kind of snapped me out of it, to be honest with you.
I love that you got that opportunity, man. And it just, like I said, it warms my heart. But it came at the time, a week later or 2 weeks later, you said, with the Ronda Rousey stuff, right? And
yeah,
like that blew my mind, because I remember I was sitting up at a cottage with my girlfriend, and all of a sudden my phone started going off. And I had, Mike text me, and a couple of our other friends text me going, "Holy shit, did you see SmackDown?" I said, "No, I'm, a couple drinks deep at the cottage right now." And here come the pictures.
yeah.
I'm like, "No way!" Like, immediately I'm on my phone. My girlfriend's going, "Is everything okay?" Like, I'm like, yeah. Something awesome happened to my friend. Like, walk me through that. How did all that happen? I know you and Pat McAfee hit it off pretty well. What was that experience like, being in there with the baddest, Ronda Rousey?
So that's cool, man. Obviously, like, it was, you always wish it could be more. I remember I remember getting to the building that day, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and they were just like, because I went up to them, this guy who works there, and I was like, "Hey, do you know if there's any matches for the extras today?" And he's just like, "I don't think there is." He's like, "I think there's only one spot, but it's with Ronda Rousey." And I was just like, "Okay, all right." Because I just listen, with it's no disrespect, I just want to wrestle. I really want to, like, I'm at the point right now where I know that I can go with anybody, and I mean anybody. So all I want is the opportunity to show them that, because I've done extra work for them before. I've done on-screen things for the WWE before. But I wanted to show them what I'm truly capable of. And I'm not that guy that's okay with being there and just getting a paycheck to go to catering and just like, and say hi to people. That I no disrespect to those people that do that, but that ain't me. Like, I'm 39 years old, man. Like I gotta fucking it is a shit or get off the pot for me.
Mhm.
So I just all I wanted was a match or like just something to show that like I can be there and that I'm capable of doing like and hanging with these guys. So then the opportunity came about for the Ronda thing. And it just so happened to be kind of neat that it was Ronda because again, Ronda and I have met before and we've and this is a weird thing to say to people because like the first time that I met her, like she literally saved me from having a panic attack and like and like talked me out of doing some pretty shitty like she caught me at a really bad time, but like sensed it and then like literally talked to me for about like 45 minutes, like just privately and like talked me down. And like I can never it was the wildest shit ever. Like because at first it was just like Ronda Rousey wants to talk to me. And then all of a sudden, like literally after like 30 seconds, it was no longer this like the baddest fucking combat sports athlete of all time. It was just this nice girl named Ronda who just really wanted to hear what the hell was wrong with me. And she just wanted to help me. And then at that point, I was like, man, like this lady's cool. And so when the opportunity came about, I like she came up to me and she kind of gave me this look and she was just like, she's trying to piece it together. And I'm like, you're trying to figure out who I am, aren't you? And she's like, yeah. And then I was just like, and then I told her about the situation and she was just like, and then she just hugged me. And then
That's awesome.
she was supposed to be doing that spot with somebody else. And it just wasn't going well. And she like they were talking about replacing that person and then all eyeballs like because she was like pick me. So went in, did the rehearsal thing. She like did it, and she just looked down at me after she like did the thing the first time, and like as she spun me around to get me into place, she just looks down and she goes, "Holy shit, you're awesome!" And I just looked up at her. I winked. I was like, "Thanks, man." And and then that was that. So then the spot became mine. And then after that, like it was again like we had a cool little moment where I got to like kind of retell her the story afterwards, and um we got to kind of take like a re-picture because like we took a picture that first time, so we kind of like recreated the first picture that we took, which was pretty sweet. Um and then again like I know that this part wasn't in the question, but then a couple of months later I was in Winnipeg doing more work for WWE for another SmackDown. And I don't know if I've ever told this story on a podcast, but fuck it, here you go, Tyler.
Yeah, take it.
um So I get to the building that day, and remember, all I want to do is wrestle. So the gentleman who was in charge of like giving me the spot at the time, I get to Winnipeg, and then I'm standing on the floor or whatever of the arena, and I just see him at the other side of the arena, and he's beelining it to me, like, and I'm like, I'm in trouble. Fuck, what did I do? Uh, and he comes up to me like just stern as all shit, and he goes, Ben, you got your match. Say that one more time. He's like, you got your match, dude. And I'm like, what is it? He's like, you're wrestling Imperium in the dark match tonight. And I was just like, that's a good one. That's a fucking good one. Let's go, dude. Let's go. I'm like, cause that's what that's oh, that's good matchmaking right there. Let's do this. He's like, go to the doctor, get cleared, and then go talk to the boys, get set up. Go to the doctor. Doctor's still in Florida, Tyler.
No,
There's no fucking doctor there.
come on.
It was the tropical storm week. So there was a lot of people that couldn't make it to Winnipeg. Doctor was one of them. So the only people that were eligible to do that were people that had been cleared the previous Monday in Calgary that were also there in Winnipeg. So I was disqualified from being able to get my match. And
Shit.
I've never been so fucking like heartbroken in my life, man. But then I'm like just trying to keep my composure because I know where I'm at. I know what not to do. I know what I'm usually about to do in this situation. I'm having a real struggle in my head at this point. So I'm just like, no sell this motherfucker, just no sell this. So I kind of just did the best thing that I could do, which was just go for a little bit of a walk. And I just kind of took just needed some space for myself to just kind of take a deep breath. Then I see Charles Robinson, who's the fucking greatest dude on earth, comes up to me and says hello and whatever. Then Ronda comes over and she's like, blah 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 blah. And I thought that she was going to be there because I found out, like, again, it was like a couple of days before that she was going to be there. And I really wanted to do something nice for her, just to say thanks for everything that she had done to me. Cause it was kind of neat that she was there. Like, or not neat, but it's just kind of wild to think that, like, of all the people on the planet, the one that was there for my literal lowest moment in, like, probably in my personal life ever, to like my highest point in my personal life ever, that it was the same person that was there for me both times. And that's
Yeah.
a really weird thing to think about. So it's just like, I just wanted to show her my appreciation for that. So then when I saw her, she saw me and she's like, "Hey, can you be in my segment tonight?" So that kind of made me feel better that, like, I got to go and do the segment with her. So we did the thing, we did the pull apart thing, set up her match with Liv Morgan for the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. But the cool thing was, afterwards, I got to give her a gift. And what was neat about it was it actually really meant a lot to her, which I thought that it would, but I didn't realize how much it would mean to her. Her coach is Judo Gene LaBelle.
Mm-hmm.
And I happen to have like a Judo Gene LaBelle, like, fucking, like, Bible of, like, just different moves and techniques and all that stuff that he wrote, but it was autographed
Oh,
by
wow.
Gene LaBelle. So I, like, took good care of it. I brought it with me. I gave it to her at the end of the night, and she, like, started crying because who gets their coach's autograph
Yeah.
ever? Nobody, right? I didn't consider that when she said that. I was like, oh, fuck. Okay, that's just okay, cool. But she was telling me that she actually really wanted to get she wanted to find Gene's signature and get it tattooed on her. So I gave her the book. I don't know if she has it yet, but if I don't know if I'm spoiling anything if I haven't, but I know that that's something that she wanted to do. So
Wow.
now she can has the ability to take that and whatever. So we had this really nice moment afterwards, and it was really nice, man. Like, she's awesome. Like, she's really cool.
That's a fantastic story. I had no idea about any of that.
Yeah.
So we've talked about some highs and we've had some highs and there's some lows too. You kind of mentioned your big concussion that you had there and the recovery that went through that. First of all, the match that you and Holden had, I think it was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
There's such a weird art that this business is, where two guys that obviously you guys care about each other a lot, and you guys just beat the hell out about beat the hell out of each other. Let's call a spade, but it was like therapeutic and beautiful, and I don't really know how to describe it other than, like, a weird type of beauty, I guess, right? But you got banged up, and then you got banged up again in Montreal. You're on the sideline for 9 months. Like, walk me through that. Like, that's hard. You're taken away from what you love the most. But I think, like, your journey is very inspirational. Because you're back now. You're doing amazing things with Uproar. We've got the big match coming. You've had these moments along the way, but I think a lot of people don't realize the struggles when something like that gets taken away, and just the hard work it takes to get back. Can you kind of take us through that journey a little bit?
Now that you say that, I completely forgot that was also, I think, another reason why I started Uproar in the first place, was because I needed something to do to kind of keep my mind occupied while I couldn't wrestle. Um, but if I'm being completely honest with you, like, the way that I remember those 9 months, I think my girlfriend would be a lot more better off answering that question about how my 9 months was off than me, because she had to deal with me, and I'm sure that it probably wasn't awesome.
Mm.
Uh, but it sucked, man. Like, it sucked. And to be honest with you, like, it still hasn't, and I don't know if it's ever gonna fully heal the way that I was before that, Like, I still get, like, just weird symptoms here from time to time, but it's a lot more manageable now. Like, I can go back and do the things that I normally do, but there's a lot more, like, taking care of myself, and, like, a lot more, like, thought process that goes into some of the dumb things that I am still doing. But I really make sure that this comes first now at this point. But it was miserable, man. Because the timing was just the worst for me. You know, it happened during a time where I was literally getting like I was getting some really consistent work with the WWE, and I'd like to think that the stuff that I was doing was somewhat memorable because when I did that spot with Ronda on SmackDown, that was on a Friday in Montreal. I was also booked for Raw in Monday on the Monday in Toronto, but the day afterwards, actually, I think I got home from Montreal and like maybe took a nap, like an hour long nap by the time I had gotten home. Woke up at like 9 in the morning or something like that the Saturday, and I'd gotten an email from my point of contact there, and he was just like, excellent job last night. He's like, people took notice for sure. I thought it was great. Unfortunately, it was so great that you can't come to work on Monday because if anybody, we can't use you on TV as an extra. Because if anybody sees you, they're going to be like, that's the dude who got his arm broken on Friday because it was that memorable of a spot. So unfortunately, since we can't use you, there's no point in paying you to come eat catering. I was really bummed out about that because I was just like, what a weird thing to say, like that you did such a good job that you're not allowed to come to
Yeah,
work.
that's like you did a good job. You're punished.
But they didn't. They took care of me, and they that was a nice. They took care of me. I was really appreciative of the way that they did that. And then they also gave me more dates. Like they gave me the Winnipeg date to kind of help make up for it as well, you know. And so at one point, and I like to think that it's still like open there, just because there's a new gentleman that's in charge there, and like we've certainly communicated more than once, and I'd like to still think that I'm on good terms with them.
Mhm.
Who really ever knows, you know, because things change on a weird basis. Like if you think about that company over the last 2 years, like just think about the change, like like it went from like Vince to Stephanie back to like then to Hunter and then like back to Vince and then back to like it's
Yeah, it's
now
crazy.
Endeavor and like it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, and I got to be in this really, really cool sweet spot that everybody wanted to be in at the time where it was Hunter and it was just Hunter. And like Hunter was hands on, man. Like I don't even know if I've told this on a podcast, but like when we were doing the thing in Winnipeg and we had to do the pull apart stuff, you know, Hunter came down and was like trying to explain to everybody else like how to do the pull apart differently than usual because you're dealing with women, so you can't like grab up top.
Mhm.
So just out of nowhere, Triple H fucking shoots a single leg on me, and I was just like, what do I do? So to tell you, that's how hands on he is. He's just like, this is what I need you to do, guys. Is like kind of do this all that whatever. And I was like, this is I love this, man. And it's not me marking out that Triple H just shot a single leg on me. What I'm marking out for is the fact that like dude at the top of the fucking podium right now is so interested in making sure that his product is good that he's coming to work with guys like me on my level and to make sure that I feel comfortable because that's really what it's all about. It's not about fucking I'm bigger and badder than you and fuck you and kiss my ass and blah 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 and be my little minion because you're not here and up to my level or whatever. It's just like, nah, man, we're all on the same team trying to accomplish the exact same goal. And hopefully at the same time we can all work together because I'm not a part of the team yet. I just want to show that I'm worthy of being on a part of a team. But if I'm not and it just doesn't work out, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to just show what I'm capable of and allowing me to play in your playground. It's been my life's dream. So, you know, if this is all I get, at least I can say I got to be a part of it as opposed to wondering what the hell it was going to be like.
Yeah, no, that's how I feel too. Like, I've been a wrestling fan. I'm the same age as you. I'm 39 years old. I've been a wrestling fan my whole life, and I've just recently, and I don't like to say
Did I
that
mention
I'm.
how good this is, by the way?
Is that Prime drink by chance?
That'd be that Prime energy drink, that
Oh
strawberry
wow,
watermelon
strawberry
Prime. So
watermelon Prime. I heard that you can get that at all crossbody events going forward too.
it's delicious.
Fantastic
I feel
stuff.
very energized right now. Can you tell?
Uh, I like what you said there though, because like I'm doing something I want to do my whole life, and I just never thought I could do it, or never thought that it was for me to do. I'm a very big critic of myself. I don't think I deserve nice things. I just think that I want to help other people achieve
I'm the
nice
same.
things. Yeah, and so I get a chance once a month to ring announce now, which I become the full time ring announcer in Barrie Wrestling. And for me, it's just the greatest thing on the planet, and People tell me I do a great job, and I'm happy to hear that. But for me, like when I get there, I just want to help other people. I'll walk up to everybody and I'll say, "What can I do? Can I say something to help make you better? Can I say something to help enhance you to the crowd? Do you want to, if you're a heel, do you want to tell me I suck to get heat? If you're a face, there's an in-ring segment, do you want me in the ring? Do you want me just to hold the microphone, or do you want me to just give you the mic and get the hell out of there? Right? Like, I love the fact that I'm living a small part of a dream. Having this conversation with you today, this is fantastic for me, because I not only do I have a lot of respect for you, and I like to call you a friend now, because I think you're a great person, but I'm sitting here getting these stories from you about your journey, and it's fantastic to me. This is my dream, and to hear you get those experiences, that makes me happy, because I think you're one of the good ones.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. My whole thing is just wrestling doesn't owe me anything, and it doesn't owe you anything. It doesn't owe me anything. It doesn't owe anybody anything. The biggest thing for me, the way that I look at the business is, I've had a very difficult life. Not one that I like to talk about a lot, but I've had a very difficult life. The one thing that I can say that has never left me ever is wrestling. So I take that very, very seriously. When there's only one constant that's only been in my life since the time that I was born to the time to where I'm at right now. And it's the thing that still excites me when I wake up. It's the thing that makes me feel alive, even at this age. Not just being able to do it, just watching other people do it, watching my friends do it, watching my students do it, watching just people that I admire do it. It's just, I'm lucky, because even though I don't make the living that I would like to make off of pro wrestling right now, I don't have the job that I would like to have with pro wrestling right now, that doesn't mean that it's still not possible. And even if I don't get it, what a journey. What an absolute incredible way to meet the friends that I've met, and maybe it wasn't financially successful or whatever, but man, I got to do some very cool things. Like, and I'm still doing very cool things that, again, get me out of bed. A lot of, like, I don't even understand if people in Ontario realize, because they probably think that I just sit here and do nothing and just wrestle the odd uproar taping. I'm another province away main eventing pay-per-views for heavyweight titles, in heavyweight title pictures, and like bookending pay-per-views where I'll start the pay-per-view and end the pay-per-view, and working with all of these excellent top talents and stuff like that. That to me is such a joy, because it's very neat to know that I get to go and do all of these things on these different platforms to this day. And I get to hear from people that, like, I respect in the States, that message me and tell me that, oh man, I just saw you do this on Fight Plus. I want to wrestle you. Like, I didn't realize that you were like this. And like people from Canada messaging me, and they're like, man, I want to wrestle you. I didn't realize that you were capable of these things. I'd always heard this, and this. And it's just like, don't believe what you hear, I guess. Like, maybe give me a chance. Like,
100%.
I'd like to think I'm a pretty decent guy. Maybe you don't like me because I'm honest. That's fine.
People are scared of honesty.
And that's fine. Again, I'm not trying to be out here and hurt anybody's feelings, man. I just want wrestling, and I just want all of us. And I mean that, all of us. I want us all to succeed. Even the little pricks down the road that make my life or they try to make my life an absolute living hell. And they still all do all these underhanded tactics to try to, like, it's ridiculous. And it's not stuff that I ever bring up publicly, because it's just not worth my time. But man, go be successful, but go be successful doing your own thing. Like, you don't want to get into that. Like, and I don't understand what the point is of it anyway. It's just like, I genuinely want to see y'all succeed, because the more people that you bring to your shows and the more people that we bring to our shows, you know what that does? That makes more wrestling fans in our area. That's the goal. And if you, as a promoter or a local promoter, and this isn't just, I'm talking, this is anywhere. I don't give a shit where you are. If you're that concerned about, oh, they're my fans, or that's my ticket money, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, get the fuck out of here, because you're in the wrong. Like, this ain't the Monday Night Wars anymore, brother. Like, this ain't what it is. And if you don't want to see other people succeed, what that tells me is that you're just jealous, because you know that you don't have the tools to, and you're jealous.
Absolutely. We all succeed when we work together. 100%.
Exactly, man. Exactly. The most successful show that I've ever put on in our venue that we currently have right now was the first show that we had back from the pandemic where we raised proceeds for the hacker. We had Crossbody, we had C4, we had Barry, we had everybody just working together to
Mm-hmm.
put on this incredible show for our friend that we love. That's it.
Yep.
There was no bullshit. There was no, I need this. This person needs to go over. There was none of this. It was just a group of individuals that all love each other, love what we do, love our friend Curtis. And we all just wanted to get together and do what we could to raise as much money to help him as possible. Steven from C4 won the 50-50 that night and just gave all the money back. You want to know why? Because he's a sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the type of individual that I want to surround myself with, is I want everybody to see each other succeed. If you're not about that life, get the fuck out of mine.
100%, man. It was like I cut the bullshit out of my life about 10 years ago, and I've never been happier.
Mm-hmm.
And doing what we're doing now, it's just I love it. I'm happy, and that's tough to say sometimes. Life's hard, and I can wake up and be happy more than I'm not happy. I call that a win. Ben, you've been great. You've been great with your time. I just got a couple more questions. I absolutely have to ask you about here. Dark Side of the Ring. You do fantastic work with Dark Side of the Ring. You were Nick Gage.
Did fantastic work with Dark Side of the Ring.
Sorry, did fantastic work. Let me hone in on the Nick Gage stuff, because to me that's really cool. You were Nick Gage. Sure. He's such a fantastic enigma. He's special. He's Nick Gage, and you got to play him Dark Side of the Ring. Did you ever hear from Nick at all after your experience doing Dark Side? Was there any talks with him at all, or
sort of? He doesn't give a shit, dude. so the reality is that, like, I didn't really know what I was walking into that episode, right? I'd never done it before. I'd never really worked on the show before. I'd worked on the show, but never actually like worked on the show. I was helping with casting stuff for that first little chunk, but that was the first time I'd ever been on set. And like I was messaging everybody I knew, because I just wanted to do it well. Like I remember messaging Jake something, and I was just like, "Hey, what the fuck is this thing like?" And he just laughed at me. He's just like, "Dude, it's the easiest thing in the world. You're gonna have fun. Don't worry. Don't stress. Just go. It's literally just you're fine." Like, okay. And he was so right. But then I ended up speaking to like a mutual friend of like a guy that was good friend of mine, I'd say at the time, because he just kind of disappeared off the fucking planet and he doesn't talk to anybody anymore. But he's really good friends with Nick Gage. So like I remember getting on the phone with him and just was asking him, like, tell me everything about him, just so then that way I do this thing justice. And he did. It's like 3 hours, just told me everything, like little things like that, just that I don't want to bring up because they're probably personal, but like he just told me so many little things that I tried to implement into the scenes and stuff like that. And I was just wondering, I'm like, man, I wonder if he's going to see it and be like, whoa, that's kind of neat. Like that was a lot of whatever. But then I think the only conversation I ever had with Nick afterwards was he put up a thing that he was selling one of his action figures. And I was just like, you know what? I got to get one of those like major bendy things.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'd rather buy it from Nick than him, because then I kind of can like whatever. So I messaged him, I'm like, hey man, I'll take one of those. And just to let you know, like I'm the guy that played you in Dark Side. And he's just like, cool, man. Here's my PayPal.
I would expect nothing less, actually.
Exactly. So it's just like I'm sure he thought it was neat and everything that like he had a show, but like, consider the source. Like Nick is. I'm sure that it's not something that he was just like, oh, fuck this thing or whatever, but he doesn't care about that kind of stuff. So,
well, you kind of mentioned the action figure, and it goes into my next question I have. I know you're a memorabilia collector. What are some of your little holy grail pieces that you have? Some of your favorites?
So one of my favorite pieces is the Minoru Suzuki that I just got from Storm Collectibles. It was a newer one. The Nick Gage one I've got. The Major Bendy one is pretty cool just because it's autographed and it's just for personal stuff. I'm looking at my little Owen Hart collection, and that makes me like that's clutch. I've also got an original TNA Wrestling Eric Young action figure that's signed by him, the Don't Fire Eric.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just meaningful because like I grew up watching JR on the indies, and like he actually was very vital in kind of steering me in the right path when I first started, because he saw that maybe I wasn't getting the best advice. So he kind of plucked me aside and was just like, you, everything, your work ethic is there, but the people that are telling you what to, they don't know. You have to kind of get retrained, kind of a thing. So, and my Pat McAfee obviously is a clutch one. This one here is obviously one of my favorites because this is my first Minoru Suzuki action figure.
Nice.
I've got some Kenta action figures, like the Noah Kenta action figure on my shelf over there, which is pretty dope. But I think maybe the coolest action figure that I do have, now that I think about it, isn't necessarily an action figure. It was a handmade custom action figure. But I've got Maddie's. I've got some Maddie art on my wall, which is a claymation version of myself. And
That's
it's like the
cool.
coolest, baddest ass thing in the world. Because I love that kid. I don't know if you know Maddie from the Ottawa area. He helps out a lot with C4. Matt D'Angelo is his name. And just the absolute, like, the best fan that you could want. You know what I mean? Like he's just a sweetheart of a human. He supports the boys. He helps out at shows. Like he helps promote things for us. Like he's the most, like, he does all of this art for free and just gives it, like, I've got this really cool drawing and like this really cool claymation thing that he did and he does that for a lot of guys, but it humbles you when it's for you, because you're just like, who the fuck am I? You know, like, and I'm looking at a claymation version of me and my gear that like is specially designed. Like there's a lot of cool things going
That's
on there,
cool.
man.
That's
Yeah.
cool. I'm a bit of a collector myself. I got a couple cool things. I've got like the program for the first ever War Games match. That's one of my favorite matches
Wow.
of all time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've got an autographed Bobby Heenan picture. I love Bobby Heenan. I've got a
He's one of my dudes, man.
yeah, he, like, growing up on Bobby, we're the same age, right? So Bobby is like,
Actually, I got Weasel Suit Bobby staring right at me about 2
I
feet
love
away.
that. I love that.
And
I've
I've got
got
LJN Bobby actually staring at me again. Yeah, I've got Bobby's, brother. I'm a
blue
big
shirt
Bobby Heenan
LJN.
guy.
Yeah, me too. I'm a
Got it.
big Bobby guy, so
Got it.
that one meant a lot. I've got a ring use autographed turnbuckle pad from Lance Storm's training school,
Oh,
which I
that's
think
cool.
which is pretty cool for me. And then wrapped around that, when AEW came to Toronto the first time with the Rampage tapings, I was actually sitting with Van Landen, and we were in the front row. We got tickets the day of the show somehow, front row, and FTR gave me their tag rope after their match, because I'm a big
Oh,
tag team
neat.
mark. I'm a big tag team mark, and
That's
so,
very
like, I
cool.
like stuff like that where people like, oh, that's not real, and I don't care. That's my collection. Like, you can tell me it's not. Like, when Unforgiven came to Toronto in 06, I sat right behind JR and the King, and JR gave me his run sheet and signed it. And that was cool for me. But it just looks like a photographed piece of paper that I would have made myself, right? But I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
care. Jim Ross handed that to me, and it was cool. And he autographed it.
That's
He
cool
wrote
as
he wrote
hell,
the
man.
attendance on it. And it's like his like a concert set list. That's what it looks like. It's super cool.
That's
So
exactly it. And
I'm a
and
big
it
collector
doesn't
too.
matter what other people think. That's yours and it's
That's
for
fine.
you. Yeah.
100%. It makes me happy. So I've got my little display downstairs with my wrestling and my tragically hip stuff. It makes me happy. My little man cave, right? My Cincinnati Bengals stuff. We're working on that here.
That's
Um,
awesome.
Last question I'm going to ask you, because I know you've been great with your time, and it's Sunday. We got to go watch some football soon.
Damn right.
Your Cowboys are killing it right now. That defense is looking strong, man. My Bengals,
Well,
not
we're
so
down
much.
Stefan Diggs right now, which is
That
a
hurts. That hurts. That hurts. But that offense is
sorry, Trayvon
explosive
Diggs,
too.
not Stefan Diggs.
Trayvon is,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, the
Well,
brother. My bad.
yeah.
I just literally put an anytime touchdown on Stefan Diggs for the 1 o'clock sheet. So that's why it's kind of in my brains. Sorry about
No,
that.
I like that. I got to go hit my
I'm
ticket
a
soon
degenerate
too.
gambler.
Yeah, I mean, me too. You got we'll have to talk off air. Give me some picks there. So I'm about to go hit my Pro Line ticket. So
Sure. All right.
last
I got to
question I'm
get
going
you
to
on
ask you.
FanDuel and get you some free money is what I got to
Now
do.
we're talking. Yeah, now we're talking, because I need
I
it.
got you.
My mortgage won't stop going up. So I
Well, I
need
can help.
There we go. Okay, last question I'm going to ask you. This is what I ask everybody as we wrap the show up. You've done so many incredible things in your life, not just in wrestling, but in your life in general. But we'll specify this to wrestling. What's something that you look back on that just makes you happy? It could be, a match, a moment, something small, but it's just for you that makes you happy to think about.
I mean, the first thing that immediately pops up into my head was just like, obviously it was the SmackDown thing. That truly genuinely made me happy because and I know I've already talked about it. I'm trying to think of something else, but the reason why that just pops up is because again, like that was always the dream, was to be on live television, um, and just the whole scenario itself, like working with who I got to work with, having fucking Pat McAfee call the damn thing, who I literally like. My girlfriend's right there. She could tell you that I annoy the shit out of her with how much Pat McAfee I watch on a daily basis. She's over there shaking her head. She's, but it's true, man. Like that dude is like, you couldn't have put a more perfect scenario for me. Like I think about it now, and I was just like that. I was bummed out that that was all it was. That's all it was. And then I look back on it while it was happening, and I'm just like, I'm in the ring. I just took a bump. I'm working with the top combat athlete of maybe of all time. I'm on Fox live right now. My fucking dude is calling this with Michael Cole of all people, who is also the dude. Hunt, like it's just it was as it was happening, and like as I was laying there and I was like selling, it was just that I let it resonate in my head where I was like, this is all happening. And I remember even taking a second to just kind of look in the audience and be like, this is what I was meant to do. This is where I was meant to be. So that's the thing that makes me happy, is that I got to see it and I got to be a part of that. But the other thing that I look back on that literally just makes me happy, now that I think about it after that, is easily seeing the growth of everybody that has ever worked for me, or has ever been a student of mine. Um, that stuff makes me proud, because the reality is like I don't have any children right now. That might change down the road. I don't know. Future's crazy, but at the moment, uh, those are my children. So to see them grow and to see them succeed the way that they are, and to be a part of that, just it makes me because that's my legacy, man. Like that's like I've heard Chris Tidwell, Notorious TID, talk about like his legacy before, and I never really truly got it until I kind of took on everything myself, I guess, recently, and realized I was just like, especially now that it's kind of my stamp alone on these guys with Tyler Thomas as well, but like it's kind of my stamp on everybody that's training with me right now. It's and at our facility, like I take that very personally, and I take that very seriously. So seeing that happen, um one of the neatest things in the world for me, and like I've explained this to like even my girlfriend, it's like when we our one kid Breland, when you'd show her something. Sorry, one second, I just realized that my Facebook went off and I should probably close it. There we go. um but just seeing how people get excited about learning things, and like when they get like oh my god, that was like the coolest thing. That's like, yes, it is the fucking coolest thing. It really fucking is. Um, Another thing that makes me smile, actually, there's one more thing that I truly look back on with all of the pride in the world, and can say that like this might be one of the cooler things that I have ever done, is my match with Speedball, because it started out as a Twitch thing. It started out completely as a goal on Twitch to help grow my Twitch channel. And we had a goal set aside that we were going to do. And this was during the pandemic. And if we hit it, I was going to drive down to Montreal. We had this incredibly hilarious, we have to do it sometime. Fuck. It was so good what we had for an idea. But we were going to film this 2 out of 3 falls match. And, but we didn't hit the goal. So we still wanted to do it. But we couldn't give what we had promised, because then that wouldn't have been the right thing to do. So we ended up doing this 6-man tag, which was IWS's first show back. And it was in front of like 20 people in like their dojo, but it was me and Speedball pretty much got our opportunity to have our little match. And then once that happened and people saw our chemistry and IWS saw our chemistry, and we started to vlog about it, because we were also doing vlogs too. Then everybody's the interest level became a thing. And then IWS was just like, we're taking that, because before somebody else gets their hands on whatever this is that's brewing, we're fucking taking it. So we ended up setting this match up. I had a 4-way match, which was like our first show back at like a bigger venue. I won a number one contenders match to wrestle Speedball at MTELUS in it was like a November of like 2 years ago. Now, to preface this, to make this even cooler, IWS has only ever sold out MTELUS one time before that, and that was with Rey Mysterio. The second time they ever sold out MTELUS, it was headlined by me versus Speedball. That is
I
a
gotta run
goddamn wild thing
in.
to think about.
That's
Um,
crazy, man. You Rey Mysterio Speedball. I love to hear that.
it's it's I'm sure that I don't think that it was us that drew it. I know that Manny and Andrew are just incredible promoters, but I can say whether it was not or whether it was true or not, if it wasn't us that drew it, we fucking headlined that show. And we were the main event of the second ever sellout from MTELUS and the first one that didn't include a Rey Mysterio, for example. So pretty goddamn cool. What made it even cooler was the match went so well and people started to attract to that story so much that it became a fucking 1 hour documentary on the Fight Network.
That was cool. I watched that.
So this thing that my fucking best friend and I created and that we wanted to do that started out as a Twitch thing ended up as not only a main event that sold out in a venue, but it ended up being a documentary on the goddamn Fight Network about it. So that, when I look back at it, is pretty damn cool.
And that was a damn good match too. If anybody hasn't seen it, go out of your way to find it. You guys tore it down, man. That was fantastic.
Thank
And
you
you know
very
what?
much.
I do think that you guys had pretty much everything to do with the sellout because that match had a lot of hype behind it. Because I remember like the build up leading up to it. Like I was like, shit, like these guys are building steam. So I don't know. I wasn't there in the building live and I'm not too familiar with IWS down there, but
Very hard to say because Montreal is a fickle audience, man. Like it's I didn't know how to gauge them at first. I love them to death now. Like those are my motherfucking people. But man, for a while there, I didn't know how to gauge it because like I think I think it was Speedball that did it. I think I just happened to be along for the ride because I think what ended up happening, and I think this is why I became such a heel that I did there, was because when I was being introduced to IWS, they were kind of introducing me with with Speedball, and it was very clear that Speedball was on his way out. And again, I don't know this for sure, but I feel like the audience thought that IWS was trying to shove me down their throat as the new kicky guy. And I'm like,
okay.
that's certainly not what we're trying to do here. But I think that's how they felt. So they rejected me like the plague. Like if you go back and watch that match, you can hear at some point in time, like, where the fuck is Kitchener? Like everybody just on my ass, man. And then it became the synergy where like it was like maybe a show or two later where they kept getting on me. And then I finally just snapped and I just flipped them all off and just like from the heart told them all to go fuck themselves. And then they just all stood up and gave it right back to me. And then at that point, I realized I got a thing.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I got a thing. And that became my thing. Every time that I would come out, every time that the announcer would say from Kitchener, Ontario, everybody just stood up and double birds. And the thing that made me feel actually really cool about that was how many people from the GCW pay-per-view tried to do that at Olympia and nobody was getting it. And I was just like, oh, thankfully
I
everybody's just saving them birds for me. That's cool.
I always like when you go down there because like I'll follow on social media, right? So if, whether you're posting it or Chops or whoever, but there's always those great pictures taken of the double birds going, and it's always like a one like intimate one where you're like right in somebody's face. Or I love it. It's great photography. It's great art, and you must have a blast doing it.
Love it. Like it's because it's real. Like because I genuinely feel that way about audience members that feel that way about me. Because man, I'm working my motherfucking ass off. I'm good at this. I know that I am, and I'm not one of those dickheads that are just like, oh, I deserve this. No, fuck you. I'm good. I know I'm good at this. I've worked my ass off at this stuff. Put me in there with anybody, and I'll fucking run it with them. You know what I mean? And I've been getting a lot of that lately, where I've been working with people that I've worked in the past, like I haven't worked with in a while, that I've been working them lately, and they pulled me aside afterwards to thank me for learning things in like that maybe they weren't used to. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to say names because that's not my fucking story to tell. But it's just been nice having that, where like these people that maybe were scared of me because they thought that I just straight up went nuts and decided that I was going to start beating the hell out of people, when they finally listen to me and understand what it is that I've learned over these last 2 or 3 years and apply it to that, and it takes away from what they're normally used to, they're starting to realize like, oh, I can do other things and still have and actually have a really, really great match, So that's the goal, man. Is like, it's always been that. It's always been like, how can I get better? How can I help people get better? How could people help me get better? Because I know I'm not the end all be all, but at the same time too, I do know that I have something to provide, So that's just where it's at for me, man. Like again, I almost forget the original question here, but I fucking love wrestling. I love it with every fiber of my being. I love teaching. I love learning. I love doing it. I love performing. It's just the best. I get to talk to people like you. It was the Montreal thing. But what was even crazier is that now it became such a thing that when I came back, they missed me, and they fucking like I got a whole new set of gear. Just those will be the last thing before we go. But I got a whole new set, and I had planned on this while I was off for my 9 months. I'm just like, I'm gonna get this Toronto Blue Jays set of gear because that's gonna be the biggest fuck you party. Like when I come back, like we're gonna really set the tone on this. And what I didn't realize, the mistake was I should have went Maple Leafs. If I would have went Maple Leafs, maybe I would have got that reaction. But that's our only baseball team in the country. So everybody saw my gear and they saw that I was back. And then it was like, well, shit, yay. And I was like, that was not the goal.
Like, no, I'm the fuck you guy. Come on.
Yeah, fuck me. Fuck me. But no, it was not that way. But yeah, now we just now we got a really good relationship with the crowd there, and we got a cool thing going on there now. So couldn't be happier.
Well, and there's definitely a cool thing going on down in Crossbody Pro Wrestling. One more time,
this
Sunday.
Coming Sunday.
That's
biggest
right.
show we have ever done. Yes, tickets are a little bit more than they usually are, but guess what? If you guys want the caliber of shows that you guys have been begging us for, just remember, we can only sell 100 tickets because we're in a small-ass venue. But also remember, you're going to see this incredible show in a small-ass venue with only 99 other people. That's a pretty cool, damn intimate thing to have.
Where are you going to get the opportunity ever to see AEW superstar Ortiz in that type of intimate venue against one of the greatest talents in all of North America right now, Gabriel Fuerza? Yourself are going to be on the card. You're going to be going up against HHV. Pretty Ricky is going to be on the card, defending the heavyweight championship against Mark Shaw. We've got Matthew Grant and Justin Newhook coming out for the internet title. Huge women's championship match. Friend of the show with Crystal Moon, Haley Dillon, and Alexia Nicole going at it.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin Blackwood, Tyler Thomas, and Brother Earth. Like, this was a banger card, man. I'm pumped up for it. I'll be following along on social media.
We've also got, just because we're filming this a different day, this is being dropped, so I can tell you that because they're dropping in the next day or two anyway. We got Mikey Jenkins taking on Myung Jae Lee.
Oh, nice.
And we've also got a 4-way tag team championship match where the current champions, the Kawaii Kids, Nilo Reyes and Laurel Cassidy, will be defending their titles against the Commotion, Travis Moore and Grizzly Mac, versus Dynasty versus Dynasty.
Ooh, very interesting.
Interesting, isn't that?
Very interesting. And of course,
they've both earned their right, though. I mean, you're going to see, well, I guess actually you will have seen, because it's Thursday that's being aired, so you would have seen last night's episode, because I'm not spoiling nothing now, but you would have seen Dynasty get a big couple of wins last night on last night's Uproar, and you would have seen Sway Archer and D. Smith unfortunately pin me on episode 3. So, both teams have been doing well. So, in my opinion, I think that everybody deserves that shot. So, it's going to be Dynasty versus Kawaii Kids versus the Commotion. So, that's your full card right there, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to have an absolute banger. And when I say that that's not it, that is not it. We've got some pretty cool surprises lined up, because it is the 7-year anniversary show, the legitimate 7-year anniversary show. The very first show that we ever did was on October 1st, 2016. So here we are 7 years later to the day. The first ever match in Crossbody Pro Wrestling history was myself versus HHV. So now for HHV's last match, says that it's going to be his last match. I never know with this dude because he's a fucking space cadet. But he says he wants to have his last match with me on the exact same day and go out with his Jericho Storm moment. So to me, I thought, you know what? I don't have anything else going on, and I don't have any hatred for anybody these days, and nobody's really, bugging me too much other than Dynasty. But they've got their own thing going on. So you know what? Let's do it. Let's have that moment. Let's go to war. Let's just have a good old fashioned throwdown for the sake of calling it a career. And while HHV might not have been out there as much as people might not know who he is and whatever, he was okay with that. That's all he wanted to be, he just wanted to get it out of his system. He just wanted to wrestle a couple of different places, and he was completely okay with that. So, and a very talented guy who is now getting to go home and spend all of the time that he wants to with his family the right way. So
That's awesome.
very excited for this match. I'm very excited for this card. Get your tickets. You can get them via e-transfer, which I know is kind of a weird way and people don't necessarily like that, but it's better than doing the Eventbrite thing because then they just charge you extra money. I'm trying to not do that. I'm trying to make sure that we have a show that we can pay for and that we can provide for you guys on a completely every show basis. So once you forward your ticket money via e-transfer to benortmanns@gmail.com. Your name goes on a list. And once you come to the venue, your name will be on that list with the amount of tickets that you purchase. And then you just come in. So it's also a paperless deal as well. So we're technically helping out the environment in the process as well. So I understand where that might be a weird bit of a trust issue, especially if you don't know us and you're just randomly e-transferring like money to an account. But just know that that's how it is. I'm getting better at sending out confirmation emails and stuff like that just to let people know who aren't necessarily regulars that I don't know, just to confirm, hey, I received your ticket money and you'll be at the door and all that stuff. So just so in case anybody's wondering how that works. And again, we're limited to 100 tickets. Where I'm at right now, I believe we've got about 70 tickets left. And this is on Sunday. So hopefully by the time this airs, we have none. But get your tickets now because believe me, this is always when the tickets move. The week of the show is always. I've been doing this for now 7 years. This is how this fucking thing works. So get your tickets now. Let's get going. Let's support this small business, if anything, because again, if you guys want to continue to have these cool shows come to you and be a part of your area, it's a part of supporting it as well. And come with signs, come loud, come fucking proud, man. That's our boy that's going to be wrestling AEW star Ortiz. You know what I mean? Let's support that. So that's all I got, man.
Yeah, and if you need a little bit of help coming out of your shell at that show or you hurt your voice yelling too loud, go grab a Prime energy drink.
This fucking guy. Yes. You get it.
Let's do
that.
it. Ben, this
$4 for hydration, $5 for energy. No taxes, ladies and gentlemen. Just bring your money, get your Prime.
What more do you need at a wrestling show, right? You got it all. You got a great card, you got great drinks, and you got great people. Ben, this has been an absolute pleasure, man. I have absolutely enjoyed this. Thank you so much for taking the time out to do this. We got to do it again sometime because I feel like we barely scratched the surface, man.
Anytime, man. I appreciate you allowing me to do this, allowing me to promote my stuff on your platform. I appreciate all the help that you've always provided for us and just trying to help get the word out. And if you're watching this and you've supported Uproar or you've supported us in any way, even if it's just giving us a like, giving us a follow, giving us a subscription on YouTube, whatever, all of those things mean more to me than you have any idea knowing, because that's supporting us in a way that you don't have to pay. It doesn't cost anything to hit that like button. It doesn't cost you a damn thing to hit the RT button or whatever X Twitter calls it now, the repost. It doesn't cost you a damn thing to share. It doesn't cost you a damn thing to throw a like or leave a comment. Those are all things that are free that really help genuinely support all of us, not just me, but like wrestlers in general who have pages, independent companies who do the exact same thing. Like when you hear us like beg, please do these things, it's because it fucking helps us. Mm-hmm. We know this. So anybody who's ever done any one of those things for myself, for Crossbody, for Tyler, for Count It Out, for anybody on the indies, thank you. Because without you guys, we ain't shit.
I think that's the perfect place to take it home then. On behalf of Ben,
absolutely.
I'm Tyler. And you've been counted out.